What is good, JVS? We are back with another review. I'm gonna start off with our little non-spoiler that we're gonna do. It's gonna be nice and sweet, nice and short. But man, I am happy to be back with this show. This show is very special, and a lot of you know that I wasn't really familiar with this before I dove into season one. And it's like I am glad we watched it. The fandom is insane. You guys welcomed me in with open arms. On top of that, it's just on top of the like crazy setting, which is hell. The music is just so unique, so one of a kind, and it's special. And season two, I feel, is no different. I will say I had a lot of songs that kind of stuck out in season one, but there is one song specifically in this season, and I will say episode two. I don't want to say too much, but I will say it is probably one of my. It's in my top five of songs because it was just brilliantly handled. The relevance to the overall story just made it so much more impactful, and I guess the uniqueness from some of the other songs that we've gotten, I guess in this season, if you will, it just made it really special. But that doesn't mean the other songs are not good because every song that you get in the first like 2 to 4 episodes are bangers in my opinion. But that one just stood out. So if you want good music, expect it for season two. I do think that they, at least I think in the first episode, in the first 2 episodes, they start off with a little bit more of a bang maybe than the first season did. I don't know that I feel like that's a little might be a little subjective. I don't know. So I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. If you guys want to go down below and rank your episodes, rank your songs for an example, but they really come out swinging with especially with some of the events that happened in season one. I was interested to see how that was going to kind of come around to I guess this season as a whole, but it's not something that they deal with in the first episode or two. It's something that we deal with in a matter of the entire, in the whole season. And I guess the death of Adam and just so many different things that we get just really ends up being, obviously it's going to be important, but it's very important throughout the season with uh Sir Pentious being, of course in heaven. There's just a lot of things that they end up kind of diving into and diving around. Charlie, of course, being a big, kind of like factor of hell, if you will, like people looking at her for answers, looking not only just in hell, but just all around. So it's really cool to see kind of how important some of our characters have gotten. I will say there are some characters that were really important in season one that I feel like have taken a little bit of a backseat, which I don't want to name characters because I know some of you might be upset by it, but I will say that's a little bit of a downside on my part because the first 2 episodes alone, I was just like, okay, where like we got this guy saying three things, like I want more of that, and the 2 episodes alone, the first two, because they're dropping them in batches, so I've seen up to episode four at this point, but first two go by extremely fast. I enjoyed it, and it was just cool the different settings that we are kind of like diving into. And they take their time diving into like the different stories and like explaining how I guess heaven kind of like feels about certain characters and or to jump the gun, like how they feel about Sir Pentious being in heaven. So it's just having a whole episode wrapped around that was pretty awesome. But I won't dive into the consequences and how they actually deal with it. But I will say they did a really good job kind of balancing all of the different like questions we had because I'm like, how are they going to handle this, how are they going to handle that, and they do a good job answering a lot of things that I wanted to ask. So I will give him that, but I will say season two is off to a fantastic start. Again, only up to episode four, so that's all I'll say for now. But season one was special, and I really hope that you guys vibe with season two the same way I did. I mean, um, we have characters like Vaggie trying to like make their own identity and kind of abandon their own old ways, where Charlie is over here kind of doing a similar thing, like, hey, like we can be better, abandon your old ways, and then we can kind of like be better and evolve, and do things a different way. And if you like the idea, come to the hotel. And it's just it's interesting to see because it's hell. Like a lot of these people don't want the same ideology that Charlie has, so it's just interesting to see how they kind of wrote that into the show and the way that she has to kind of like push herself and kind of be a leader. And it's just really cool to see her kind of step up to that level, where we have other characters that just don't see the point of it. and it's just interesting to see these characters kind of bouncing off of each other and just being very opinionated. And then we have other characters that are always opinionated, but are just doing what they need to do to get by. So it's just very complicated, but at the same time, I will say some of the heaven stuff that they dove into was a highlight for me. Like some of the character designs, the helmets are always super cool. Some of the other characters that they kind of dive into, kind of related to Adam, if you will. It's been impressive to see how they've been handling things. So I am excited to hear your thoughts. I will say overall, the first half of the season gets a minus for me. I'm really invested for more, but I did want to put that out there and hear what you guys have to say. So it's right around the corner, man. I mean, you guys are gonna be. I think you guys are gonna be really excited with what you got. But for now, I hope you guys are doing well. Hope you're staying safe. It mean a lot if you guys can like, subscribe, do what you can. If you guys want reactions, we are reacting to every episode on my channel. And of course, we're dropping the reviews over here. We're gonna try to do this every week if you're down for every individual batch of episodes. So stay tuned and thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are great. Peace out.